So with an economy as big and complex as ours, you wouldn't want to do it all at once. But in our first year, we're going to make sure that money's going out to Americans so we can start studying the effects both on a family basis and also community-wide. And then over the course of my first term, we're going to phase it in for more and more Americans. Because everyone knows that if Andrew Yang is president in 2021, it's because Americans want that freedom dividend, and that's what we're going to deliver. And the answer is they would. And there are a few great reasons for that. Number one, we are funding this with a consumption tax that would end up falling on the uber wealthy anyway. So if Jeff Bezos is paying in billions of dollars into the system, we're just going to send him $1,000 a month just to remind him that he's an American. Number two, this takes all the stigma away from the program because then instead of saying it's a rich to poor transfer, it's just a right of citizenship. We all get it. Number three, it gets rid of all the administrative and monitoring and all of the incentives to underreport. So this way, we don't have to keep track of changes in circumstances and we don't have to try and ascertain how much you're making. If you're an American, you get the $1,000 a month. And this has been proven to be a better way to go in Alaska, where the dividend has been in effect for almost 40 years and is wildly popular, in large part because it is universal. It's not like they're going into each Alaskan saying, oh, if you're doing really well, you don't get it, just everybody gets it. The freedom dividend is opt-in. So if you are currently receiving benefits in excess of $1,000, then you're no worse off. But if you're receiving less than that, which includes most Americans, even many Americans who are receiving Social Security, then this will bring you up to $1,000. And I've talked to many Americans around the country, particularly women who spent time raising kids where they didn't build up a work history, so their Social Security benefits are much lower than $1,000. And this would get all Americans up to $1,000. So if you were in a married couple, then that would be $2,000 a month instead of the lower amounts that most couples are receiving now. The first big change we have to make is we have to put Americans in position to benefit from artificial intelligence and robots and self-driving cars and trucks. And the big winners from all these innovations will be Amazon, Google, Uber, the biggest tech companies. So we have to have a value-added tax in place so that every American gets at least a tiny, tiny sliver of every Amazon sale and every Google search and every Uber transaction. And that, because our economy is so massive now at $20 trillion, a value-added tax at even half the European level that could be scaled more for luxury goods than consumer staples would raise over $800 billion a year. But here's the kicker, and this is why universal basic income is much less costly than most people think, is that this is a trickle-up economy from people and families up, and the money doesn't disappear. It goes right back into our Main Street businesses. The money circulates several times throughout our local economy. It ends up creating new jobs. It saves us money on things like incarceration and homelessness services and emergency room healthcare. And by making our people stronger, healthier, better educated, mentally healthier, and more productive, it would actually increase the size of our economy by 700 billion, according to many studies. So unlike the trickle-down economics that does not work at all, the trickle-up economy would actually pay for itself in many ways.